When a submarine navigates the deep sea, its most critical propulsion system relies on a test report that was falsified for 34 years. This is the harsh reality currently shaking Japan's defense establishment. A recently exposed scandal reveals that from 1988 to 2021, Kawasaki Heavy Industries, a major Japanese defense contractor, systematically falsified data and fuel efficiency tests for engines supplied to Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force submarines. This issue is not an isolated incident, but involves coordinated concealment across multiple departments, including R&D, testing, and quality control, forming a lengthy chain of fraud spanning the Showa, Heisei, and Reiwa eras. Over 34 years, 66 delivered submarine engines were affected, engines that power all 25 active submarines in the JMSDF fleet, the Chikashio class, Soryu class, and the newest Oryu class. This means that the foundational data underpinning Japan's decades-long, heavily invested efforts to build a technologically superior submarine fleet, including numerous key performance metrics it has touted, has been completely undermined. This is not merely an issue with a batch of engines. It represents a fundamental rejection of Japan's entire domestic defense equipment quality control system. Further investigation has uncovered even more shocking facts. Behind the fraud lies a deeply entrenched and intricate network of vested interests. Kawasaki Heavy Industries did not act alone. Through meticulous collusion with long-term downstream subcontractors, it established a complex financial manipulation system by fabricating maintenance projects, inflating component prices, and double-counting labor costs. They siphoned and secretly accumulated special funds, totaling 1.7 billion yen from the defense budget. This colossal sum evaded all normal financial audits and oversight, becoming a slush fund dedicated to sustaining illicit political business military connections. Over 0.16 million yuan worth of benefits materialized as tangible perks, luxury Swiss watches, premium golf equipment, latest model gaming consoles, high-end restaurant meals, and shopping vouchers, consistently funneled to 11 active and retired Maritime Self-Defense Force officers. The critical nodes of this corruption chain are starkly evident. A 54-year-old chief petty officer, who rose from a junior sonar operator to oversee a key submarine maintenance and supply base in the Kanto region, saw each pivotal promotion in his career coinciding precisely with the timing of gifts received from Kawasaki. Other implicated personnel occupied core, sensitive positions across equipment procurement approvals, factory technical inspections, and contract fund audits. They formed an unspoken mutual assistance relationship with suppliers, turning a blind eye to questionable test data and swiftly approving inflated contract quotations. This deep symbiotic relationship of mutual benefit completely eroded the internal oversight and checks and balances mechanisms that should have been the strictest within military procurement. Consequently, such large-scale, long-term fraudulent activities managed to pass through layer upon layer of controls unimpeded, like an open secret operating within a transparent closed room for 34 years. Faced with such systemic fraud and deep-seated corruption undermining the very foundations of national defense, the initial response from Japan's Ministry of Defense and its leadership was marked by bureaucratic self-preservation and inertia. Under mounting public pressure, the official list of implicated officers underwent a suspicious reduction. From the initial 13 names, 2 were removed on the extremely vague grounds that their gifts might have been related to official duties, ultimately settling at 11. This technical manipulation of the list size clearly aimed to control the scandal's scale and mitigate public outrage. As for Kawasaki Heavy Industries, the scandal's source and primary culprit, the Defense Ministry's penalty amounted to a mere 2.5-month ban on bidding for new Defense Ministry contracts. For a defense giant that has collaborated with the ministry for over half a century and relies heavily on defense orders for revenue, this punishment is akin to a brief business hiatus, utterly ineffective at addressing the core issue. Even more astonishing are the disciplinary actions against the implicated officers. The harshest penalty was a mere 15-day suspension, with most others receiving symbolic 1-month salary reductions. This stands in stark disproportion to the immense potential risks their actions pose to national military security, bordering on tacit approval or even indulgence. This scandal has pierced Japan's long-cherished myth of precision military manufacturing in the most brutal way. Since the war, Japan has cultivated its defense industry, particularly in highly complex technological domains like submarines and fighter jets, as a model of technological prowess, an extension of its craftsmanship ethos into national security. This was positioned as the hardware foundation for its pursuit of normal state military status. Yet Kawasaki Heavy Industries' 34-year data fabrication scandal, entangled with a web of corruption, ruthlessly exposes the other side of this myth. Within a closed, rigid defense procurement ecosystem resembling a convoy of escort vessels, one emphasizing long-term stable relationships, the priorities of maintaining superficial harmony, securing corporate contracts and departmental budgets, and even nurturing personal connections may have covertly superseded the relentless pursuit of absolute equipment reliability and technological authenticity. When core performance data can be flexibly adjusted to suit delivery schedules and client expectations, when procurement contracts become tools for raising relationship greasing funds, and when officers who should serve as gatekeepers instead share drinks with suppliers, all narratives of world-class, Asia-leading technology instantly lose the foundational integrity upon which they stand. This incident represents not merely the bankruptcy of a single company's credibility, but a fatal blow to the credibility and ethical foundation of Japan's entire defense industrial management system. Even more deeply unsettling is the fear of the tip of the iceberg effect. In a cultural and institutional environment that tolerates such prolonged and extensive fraud, is Kawasaki Heavy Industries engine issue merely the visible part of a larger problem? Do other core defense contractors similarly engage in industry practices of adjusting data to meet requirements across other critical equipment systems? This collapse of foundational trust in the equipment system not only severely undermines the operational readiness and combat confidence of Japan's self-defense forces, but may also quietly erode the deep technical trust and interoperability capabilities with allies like the United States in joint operations. Allies must now question the authenticity of equipment data provided by Japan. The Kawasaki Heavy Industries scandal transcends national borders, serving as a costly yet invaluable cautionary tale for all nations pursuing defense modernization. It delivers a profound warning. Robust defense capabilities cannot be achieved through mere financial investment, technological imitation, or the expansion of procurement lists. A truly credible, sustainable defense force capable of withstanding combat tests must be rooted in an impartial independent verification system, a transparent and competitive procurement environment, rigorous quality oversight throughout the entire process, and a national culture deeply imbued with respect for professional ethics and the absolute supremacy of national security. Any compromise, fraud, or corruption within these systems represents a slow yet fatal erosion from within the national defense fortress. The unprecedented credibility crisis now confronting Japan's Ministry of Defense is the inevitable consequence of long-standing formalistic oversight mechanisms and a corporate culture that tolerates and fosters such practices. Yet the greater challenge lies not in assigning past blame, but in forging the future. Does Japan possess the resolve and capability to undertake a soul-searching systemic reform? Can it shatter the ironclad, closed-off interest group comprising bureaucrats, corporations, and certain military personnel that shielded fraud for 34 years? Can it establish a truly independent, authoritative oversight body endowed with sufficient authority and courage? And can it rebuild a culture within defense, where quality and truth reign supreme above all else? If the answer is no, today's scandal will merely serve as the prelude to greater disasters ahead. This is not only a question for Japan but an eternal warning to all who treat national security as a game. In defense, any advantage built on lies will ultimately face utter destruction when tested by truth.